We've got to get very good at this, and I can just tell we got to put a little more intensity on this. And that's what I call the GT, which is basically what my Sunday review is.
Hey, this is Blake Sloan. I've been selling real estate over 14 years. Our team of highly trained professionals, along with our unmatched marketing, has sold thousands of homes here in the Myrtle Beach area, and this is how we do it.
Yeah, the general 10, but it's Sunday review. We're not putting enough intensity on our targets. How do I know that? When we review our targets on Tuesday, most people don't even know what they are. And so I want to just go through a framework of what I do and what we do, which is super important. Right? Called the general's tent. Why is that? Why is the general's tent? What does that mean? From a war standpoint.
Plan out their attack.
So where everybody gets together in the general's tent from a war standpoint, and they plan out the game plan. Look at the battlefield, what's going on, because part of winning the war is moving the men and the weapons in the right places at the right time so that you can win. You go back into studying war, it all has to do with what? Strategy, and who attacks where and who attacks what, and how to use your resources the right way so that you don't overcommit, or that you don't undercommit and get your ass beat. Okay, and so part of what we understand here is we got to make sure we're doing this. The first thing I do all the time, and having software that does this, we don't really necessarily need it for what you guys do. The first piece here is return a report. What do you think that means? I want you guys to get in the habit of this. This can change your entire life because it's so simple. Because what it does is it helps us identify where's wrong and how are you not moving the piece on the board the right way. So every Sunday, I want you guys to take the time, 30 minutes, whatever it is. I want to make sure I'm clear. I come in on Monday doing very, very good, and that I'm able to take some time to review. Very important. You want to live life at a high level, you make sure you come into Monday on a game. Beating you. We're in a place right now in the marketplace where I feel that we're at war. Rates are continuing to go up, right? Market's contracting, sales down 20+%, agents getting out of the business. Like, you got to make sure you're making sure you're nailing this piece right here. Okay, this is a strategy piece. And our first part, return a report. What does that consist of, you think?
What's working, what's not working?
Yes, well, I want to do what? The first thing I want to do is I want to score it. So I go back and look at what? My targets. Which ones? Right here. First piece, my 4 keys. And one thing. The 4 keys and one thing. I want to score that. Did I get a contract? And what else did I miss? So I want to return a report on what? My 4 key action items that I had the previous week. And I want to look at what? Did I hit them? Yes or no? Super important. I look at my quarterly, and we have a monthly one too, and then we have this other one which is a yearly goal. You guys don't have to worry about that. And I guess you want to look at your yearly too. But I look at what we call it impossible, which is our yearly, quarterly, and then obviously you're going to look at weekly for you guys. So I want you to look every Sunday. What do you want to look at? Your numbers overall. Why does that matter?
It's factual. Well, as long as you didn't put the data in, that's factual.
But I want to look at, right now, we're in August. How many you closed this year? What's your numbers look like? And you want to put eyes on it. Why?
So you have a target. You have clarity.
I want you to internalize it, right? We're 8 months in, I've closed 24 deals. 8 months in, I've closed 40 deals. 8 months in, I've closed 6 deals. And so if I look at it every single week and I realize, hey, look, I'm 8 months in, I closed 5 deals, what do we realize? I got a big problem. And for me to understand, it's like getting on the scale. I need to get on the scale and look at it. Studies show that if I get on the scale every day, what happens? You lose weight. Why? Just by looking at the number every day makes you that much hyper-aware. The problem most people is they're not hyper-aware. They don't know how many pending deals they have. They don't know how many they close. They don't know what their volume looks like. And so I want you guys to understand, but the key first, most important one, look at your one thing. And I want to know, which includes what? What were my dials last week? What were the agents or C agreements? What was my bucket numbers? And what was my fourth one, which is important? I'm going to show you how to link this up in a second. It's important to do what, though? Take 5-10 minutes to get clear on what the actual numbers are. Most people don't have the intensity in what they do because they don't even look at the numbers. But if you look at the numbers, guess what? You have a lot more intensity in what you do. And so my big takeaway and what I want to teach this is we need intensity in our targets. Second thing, I want you to write this down. It's course correction. What do you think that means? What I need to fix next week? Why is this important?
Where we were going.
But why is it deeper than that? Why is that important to do this on a Sunday? Most agents I talk to that all of a sudden wake up one day and like, my business only got 1 pending, 2 pending. I don't know what to do. I might quit real estate. But what happened the previous 6 weeks before that? They didn't track shit or didn't fix shit. And so I want you to understand, like, look, here's my real-time numbers based on the listing side. Guess what you're looking at? That I put in the spreadsheet for you guys each week, right? What my appointments last week, how many showed, how many did I sign, how many did I get rebooked. All those things matter for you guys on the listing side too, especially because this allows us to make sure we course correct faster. Right? If I have a no-show ratio, I want to figure out what am I doing, what I need to change to make sure my show ratio is higher. There's different levels to this, but from the buyer side, what I notice is most people don't know how bad it is until it's too bad. Do you agree? Why do most people not change it? They don't even know it. They don't internalize it. Right? But I'll tell you, thankfully I get with those numbers. Even for me, a lot of times, I feel like things are a lot different than they are until you look at the numbers. Okay? And so then when you look at the numbers, you can't argue with the numbers. And so then you start doing what? Reverse engineering. Like, okay, what do I need to fix? What do I need to change? So for my dials, this needs to be what? What if I dial this issue, what is the issue? Schedule, right? Time management, most cases. Assuming you're making the dials, right? Agency agreements, what could that be? Phone skills, right? Objection handling, not pushing for the appointment hard enough, right? Bucket, also what? Time management, okay? And the fourth one, whatever it is. So I'm looking at what's off and I'm looking at what's, same thing. Agency agreements, let's say I booked 5 appointments, but only 1 showed up. Guess what? I got a phone problem, I got a closing problem, I got to make sure, okay, well, how far out my appointment's being booked? Am I am I buttoning up at the end? Right? Am I sending the text message reminder? Am I sending the email reminder? Whatever it is, you want to make sure you understand what's happening because most people wait until they're too late to do it. And it's one thing that my old coach used to say is that most people have this old school biplane business model. And the biplane business model, once a rocket's fired at you, when do you know? When you blow up. Right? But the stealth bomber, right, has technology and certain things. They avoid these problems. They're able to get around those and track that and be able to avoid those type things. Okay? And so ask yourself, if your model as an agent, are you a biplane? Where all of a sudden you wake up one day and your pendings are low and your money's low? Or are you tracking this weekly so you can make sure that you're staying on top of it, which is very important. Okay? And so for me to have course correction, what has to happen? I have to get very real with myself. And have a real honest conversation with what? My commitment. And part of this report, if you just looked at your quarterly goals every Sunday, what do you think would happen? You hit them a lot more likely. And here's the deal. I've been down that route. Which is now why Warrior, we have this thing in our group where everybody has to do it. But it's important to make sure, like, look, am I actually taking time and I want to do what? Schedule it in your calendar for Sunday evenings. Sunday mornings, whatever you want to do. Why is it important to do it Sunday? Because wartime starts Monday. Okay? Very, very important piece. Third piece here. Lessons learned. What does that mean, you think? What was my one lesson from last week? You got to look at this, look at it as like a meme. If I was going to take a meme and post it on Facebook or Instagram or something, that's my lesson from last week. And it could be, hey, look, I didn't do the work, I need to do it. Or, hey, look, I crushed last week because I was very attentive to my details. They're so simple, but it's so simple people don't do it. You need discipline against yourself. I'll say it again. You need discipline against yourself. And what that means is, like, people know what to do, they just don't do it. And so if you just schedule it, hold yourself accountable, it's going to be the most important meeting you have of the week. And it's the hardest one to have too, I'm not going to lie. Right? And so it's important for me to make sure I'm doing that in that scenario. And then the fourth piece here, which is very important, is new targets. New targets. What does that mean? What's my attack plan for this week? What has to happen this week? What are my non-negotiables this week as an agent? So I can feed my family, have the results I want, the money I want, the schedule I want, right? I have to make sure I'm planning this out. And this new target has to do with my minimum standards are. Anybody listen to that video this morning? You don't get your wants, you don't get your needs. What do you get? Your standards. Your absolute minimum standard. And so me having that target on Sunday and having myself to have a commitment already written out and already ready to go allows me to make sure I'm able to come in and hit it hard. Now, when I have this fourth piece here, this is going to align with me with my quarterly goal. Okay, which is super important for me to understand. It's a 30-minute meeting for most people with yourself. Alone in your office or outside or whatever it is. It's important to make sure you have this, but every single week. What's the first part? Return report. What's that mean? Right? I go to my targets, my goals, I look at the score, the actual numbers. I need to look at the numbers. Where are they? If you don't know them, you start out and get in the habit of looking at the numbers. I can't tell you, if you just track an MLS every morning, I have such a pulse on it. Why? Because look at the numbers every day. I can feel real time what's happening. And you do that same thing with your numbers. Understand that. You want to understand, hey, where it's at. Go back, look at your vitals and how you scored with your bucket, how you scored with the dials, whatever it is in that scenario, it's important to do. Now, most people don't like those numbers, which is why they don't look at them. If you want to fix that, you get on the scale. Okay? Period. You got to defend against yourself. Very important to understand that. Most people just going through the motions, can't figure out why life's not working for them. All right? Very important. So you break it down, right? It's super simple. You have today, right? Which is obviously where you have your overall targets. But you guys write it down today. This is Sunday, so to speak. That goes into your weekly war. What is that, you think?
Keys.
What your keys are, what your overall goal for that week is, right? Where most people it's going to be your keys. That's going to be alignment with your monthly mission. What's your monthly mission? The monthly mission is right here. What are these targets for you to have? Most people don't look at them, that's why they don't hit them. So I review it every Sunday and just say, all right, what's my target here? 4 signed agreements, 10 executed contracts. Okay, where am I at, right? Whatever it is in that scenario, boom, I'm able to go through that. And have a real-time pulse on what's happening. And you have a real-time pulse, you get more confidence. Period. I have more confidence in reading the market every morning. Just knowing it, right? Just have it. I did this morning even though I wasn't in the huddle. Just kind of want to know what's going on and have real time. Do our listing numbers every week, every Friday. I look and put them into another report every month. I'm able to look at that and figure out what's going on. And try to diagnose real time, right? Then here's the last one. This goes into what? What do you think that is?
Quarterly.
Quarterly game. And the key thing here is that these are what? They're in alignment. Does that make sense? So my today part, what I'm looking to do is I frame up where I'm at. So today on Sunday, I want to set a frame around myself, around what?
My goals.
Where am I at right now? What's going on with me? Where's my business at? Where my numbers at? You guys are in business, right? We're in business together, but your numbers, everybody's different. And so you want to know, what are my numbers? What's going on? What my huddle attendance last week? Right? How many dollars I make? What's my bucket numbers like? How many pendings do I have? How many people I signed? All that's important. Because you need to look back and understand, did you win the war or not? If you look at the Russia-Ukraine war, what's going on right now? Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's all what? Strategy. Right? Have an offensive here versus an offensive here. Offensive here, it's all, they can wipe each other out. Well, Russia can wipe out Ukraine in 2 seconds, but they can't because obviously the whole world will be after them. But, so you have to do what? Play the game of strategy. And it comes down to how you use your resources and how you use that timing of that. And so, this is my frame. This weekly part here is my weekly fire. What do you think that means? My weekly fire. This is what I'm attacking this week. Right? I'm on fire here because I'm clear what my targets are. I looked at my frame. Here's what's going on. I'm attacking right now. This is my fire overall. What's going on in that scenario? My monthly is my focus. I use that to what? To guide me. If I have 4 executed contracts I'm using this to guide my weekly, which is here. Right? This determines my focus, what my overall monthly mission is, which is whatever that scenario. And my quarterly is my freedom. What does that mean? If you hit your quarterly goal, your life's going to be pretty good. I haven't really met too many people that hit their quarterly goals that didn't feel pretty good. You hit all yours last quarter? How did life feel? Pretty awesome, right? Did you feel a bit more free? Had some money in the bank? Right? You knew you hit your potential? Did you feel good about yourself? So that's where the freedom piece comes in. But it doesn't come very easily. It's simple, but it's not easy. And so sometimes for us to do this, we got to break it down to these simple things that are bite-sized chunks for us to look at as humans. Faced with distraction, faced with boredom, faced with all these things that we get hit every single day, we have to be able to defend against ourselves. And the tool to do that are these targets right here. But it all starts with what? A meeting with yourself every Sunday. Every Sunday. Every Sunday. Every Sunday. If you want to do it right now, I would recommend get to your Google Calendar after the meeting, just put it in there. If you want to be elite in business, you got to start meeting with yourself. Okay? And review what those numbers are in that scenario. And here's the deal. The first ones you'll probably spend putting your numbers together. And you know what's going to happen when you do? You'll feel more confident in yourself. Okay? Questions about that? Very simple stuff today, but obviously very important.